where are you going to go? So I didn't know how do you get out of Ellensburg, Washington to make a living as an actor. So I wrote letters to the Screen Actors Guild and the Actors Equity Association. And they obviously get a lot of these letters. So I got a form letter back. We do not recommend schools, but there is a book called Acting Professionally, written by Dr. Robert Cohen. Okay, well, you go to the school library. People here remember the Dewey Decimal System, where you had to actually... The Central Washington University Library had a copy of Acting Professionally. And at the end of the book, he recommended 10 schools that also gave degrees as well as a professional actor training program, of which Dr. Cohen's school was one of them. So I applied to these schools. I auditioned for some of them. The short story is that I got a full ride to Dr. Cohen's school after auditioning at the San Francisco Opera House in San Francisco about 3 months after I had initially written the first letter to the Actors Equity and Screen Actors Guild. And that was a Masters of Fine Arts program where you got a degree at the end. So if acting failed, you could teach. And I act, sang, and danced 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, with few exceptions. And because I had the business degree, starting at my second year, what are the barriers to getting a job? How are you, we're in school, we're having a great time, but how the hell are you going to get paid for this, right? So I said, well, you've got to be able to pull off good auditions. So because of Irvine's proximity to Hollywood, I would sneak and skip classes sometimes to go to auditions. There was a rag called Dramalog, and they posted open audition calls. I stood in line for 3 hours that year outside Warner Brothers for an open call for Lady Hawk. And while I was standing in that line, some New York actor was standing behind me. He's like, "Hey, you'd make a really good heavy." And I'm like, "What's a heavy?" It's like, the muscle, the guy with the gun, the guy that holds the gun on the people, the heavy. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. That's the first time I'd heard that. Anyway, there was a lot of fun, serendipitous things that happened that year, but I started getting the jobs while I was still in school. And one of the jobs, one of the auditions was in a room, I swear to God, not much bigger than this table. There was a picnic table in there. There was 2 people behind it. And on the other side was this frizzy-haired, kind of blondish guy with a perm. He was 29 years old. And there was this frizzy young lady next to him. She was in her 20s also. And they said they were going to make a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger called The Terminator. And the guy said his name was Jim Cameron. Nobody knew who the heck these guys were. And I think the last line of the audition was, "Fuck you, asshole." And Jim Cameron looked at me and goes, "Yeah, I believe that." And a few days later, that's how I got my job in The Terminator. And to this day, still the best movie I've ever been in.